There's a track called Love Collides. It's from Shambolics. Oh, what a great name for a band. And I have a man on the line who is quite the fan of theirs. Alan McGee, how are you?
Hi Dan, how are you?
What is it about Shambolics that is just so great, aside from their name?
I think they've got the songs and they're great live. I mean, at the moment, there's certain bands that are really feeling it. They're struggling with this whole situation we're all in, and I think they're one of them because they're like they're really popular, especially up north Scotland. They sell everywhere, and there's just no shows. And we put out a single, we put out Love Collides, but we really are missing the sell-out tour dynamic, because they're popular up there,
Yeah, I think everyone's missing that. So look, I read that you've been described as a music mogul. How are you about that? A mogul? Are you rich and influential?
I don't take any of that seriously, I put the records out. The label now is a one-man show. Do you know what I mean? Totally. It's like me and an iPhone, So, if I'm a mogul, I'm a DIY mogul.
So, Creation 23 is what you're doing now. What was it? Because you'd kind of escaped from this side of things with Creation, with Pop Tones.
Yeah, I go in and out of having a label, but I've always had the Creation thing going, it's like I started the management company in the 80s with the Mary Chain, and I started the publishing company in the late 80s, and I had Creation Records. Now I've got, Creation 23, so it's a bit like, the Creation thing's me, basically. I suppose that's what it says,
And what is it about vinyl, about the 7-inch singles that you're releasing? Because when I spoke to you last...
at the moment, I'm done. I'm actually, because of the lockdown, all the pressing plants, most of them have went bust. So I'm not actually, since the lockdown, I'm just doing them digitally, which is kind of, in some ways, I'm enjoying it because it's just more like I'm putting them out. It's just all about the promotion,
Yeah, because I remember speaking to you before and you were just saying that it's just so much easier not to have to put something somewhere and then press something. You can just listen to it on streaming and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
I don't love what they pay, but I love the concept of the streaming thing because it's like everything's there,
So look, how are you kind of coping with all this madness that has engulfed 2020?
I'm fine. I've got healthy during the lockdown. I've lost 25 pounds through walking, So, So for me, it's been okay. But I suppose it's just the nature of living in the world at the moment that we're all going through this mad thing. And I unfortunately I don't even think we're back next year, man. Do you know what I mean? Not really.
One of the bands that you have on the label is the Clockworks. What was it? What was it that struck you about them?
Can really play. James is a total brilliant star. I love James. And they got the songs. I went to see them in a rehearsal, Dan, in Mill Hill, and within 2 songs, I said, I want to sign you. And it's been a brilliant. It's been a brilliant experience for that band. I'd say, to be honest, out of all the bands that I've had, that's the one that I'm closest to spiritually. I absolutely love that band.
Yeah, they are pretty special. Another band that you signed, the one I'm going to ask you about now. 25 years since What's the Story, Morning Glory.
Yeah.
It's a bit mad, like how big and how influential and how visible that album still is. Does it surprise you?
Well, it's been in the charts for 25 years. Do you know that's the biggest selling album of the 90s in Britain?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so it's like, it's been in the charts for 25 years. So it's crazy. Do you know what I mean?
And I mean, you know, when you think back to that time, because I remember when we spoke quite a few years ago, you were saying around that time you were kind of just taking kind of a step away from the business because you were just knackered. Does it all seem like a bit of a haze now?
I probably look. The truth is, I learned something about myself when I took 5 years out in Wales. I can't step away from it. Do you know what I mean? That's what I learned. But you know, I ended up writing a book, brought my daughter up. It was good. I was probably, being truthful, I was probably really jaded because I'd been doing music since 1980, came to London and was managing my own band, started a label in 83, got pretty big. Well, the biggest indie label being 95, 96. And then for the encore, I mean, I suppose, I started managing the Libertines and stuff like that. And then I faded into, like, I'm jaded. And I went away for 5 years, and now I came back 5-6 years ago, wrote the book, and now I'm kind of back at it, and I'm into it, you know.
What was it that just kind of, what is it about releasing music that does it for you, though?
I love, like, I manage some bands, I manage Happy Mondays and The View in Las Vegas, but the young band thing, finding new talent is kind of, maybe it's the lifeblood of what I do and who I am, you know.
Primal Scream is a band actually just played a few minutes ago. What is it about them that just gives them the longevity? Because, I mean, people have written them off so many times and then they come out with an absolute killer of an album. What is it about them that just makes them so resilient to what's going on?
I think they're just a great band, mate. You know what I mean? I mean, Creation was weird in, you know, the 80s and 90s because if we'd only done Primal Scream and My Bloody Valentine and the Fan Club and Ride, blah, 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 that would have been enough. But we ran into the Gallaghers and it went off on a whole new thing. But it's not really just a record company, Creation. It's like a management company, it's a publishing company, and, you know, sometimes when I've not been doing much with records, like the last, up till I started this Creation 23 thing in 2018, sorry, I was managing Mary Chain and Mondays and doing big world tours, and we're doing really well with it. So it is kind of what it is. You've just got to get on with it, you know.
So look, this next band that I wanted to mention to you about, they've nothing to do with Creation 23 or they're doing with anything that you're doing at the moment. But their singer is a friend of yours, Power of Dreams, releasing a new album in early 2021. That's a pretty good thing, though, isn't it? Yeah,
brilliant. Well, I go back really far with Craig. We had a band I was managing called House of Love, and we'd had a big album in Creation in '88, and then I'd signed them to Phonogram Fontana in England, huge amount of money, and we'd put a couple of records out, and they'd went in it. Both records went in at 41. The record company were getting weird, and I booked this tour, Dan, and it was like, and I decided, because Manchester, which I was part of, I loved it, right? But that was coming up, and they were becoming more and more like yesterday's papers. So I thought, how do I chart this record? So we literally done a tour of Leamington Spa, Stratford-on-Avon, blah, 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 Helensburgh, Largs, Ayr. It was all these places that nobody would ever go to. And I booked a 72-date tour over about 3 months, and basically then needed a decent support. And Craig had just got on the front cover of the NME, and I phoned Craig up, or his manager, I must have been his manager, and I went, do you want to do this 72-day British tour? And we took Power of Dreams out in Britain, and they got big in Britain through that, you know.
Yeah. Well, it all seems like a long time ago, but it's great to have a record back from them. And it's great to see you releasing music as well through Creation 23. And look, thanks so much for chatting to me, and stay safe and well. We were speaking about the Clockwork, so I guess it would be rude not to play a track from them. Alan McGee, thanks so much.
Cheers, Dan.